Hey everyone, I'm Timmy Scott, and if you're new here, welcome. For my returning visitors, welcome back. Yes, back at you with another video. This one is going to be obviously different than what I usually make. Don't worry, for those that are extra witnesses, which a lot of you are watching this, I'm going to get back into making them. Just want to try something different. And obviously, as you can tell, I want to talk about why I love We Came as Romans so much. And it's going to be a hobby challenge. And the person I tagged that's probably going to be watching this by now is XXXXJW Eric White. If you have any hobbies you really enjoy and you have a little bit of a collection, or just what you like and enjoy, talk about it. I mean, let's get this movement going, guys. Let's start tagging people that we all share a connection with on this community and just bring out a hobby that we really enjoy or something we just really love and we're close to. So Eric, if you're watching this, which I know you are, I tag you, so looking forward to seeing a video of your favorite hobby that you really enjoy and what you really like a lot, and looking forward to watching that with you. So let's get into it. Like I said, I want to talk about We Came as Romans. So talked about them a little bit in my previous videos. For those who aren't familiar, for my ex-Jehovah's Witness friends watching this, We Came as Romans is a metalcore, Troy, Michigan-based band. They're based, again, well, out of Michigan. And I'm going to show you a picture here really quick of who they are. This is a band that I'm close to. You can tell by the body language they all love me in their own way. That guy right there is the writer, lyricist, and guitarist of the band. He's the one that changed the name? Yeah, I think he's the one that changed the name. Guitarist, Lou Cotton, was in a different band before. He was in We Came as Romans, but he's been in We Came as Romans for a really long time. Me, obviously, as happy as I could be with them. I mean, I've hung out with them multiple times before, but again, just as happy as I am in this one. He was in For Today for a really long time. Maybe some of you know who For Today is, maybe not. But that's who he is, David Puckett. And he's just barely new, about 2 years old. Well, not literally, but he's been in the band for 2 years now, almost. Andy Glass, he sees me more of a little brother. And so does he and him. That's the aggressive vocalist, Dave Stevens, Kyle Pavone, Andy Glass. So a little thing about, unfortunately, Kyle Pavone. They were originally a 6-piece band, but unfortunately, due to unfortunate circumstances, August 25th, not sure why I'm saying October, August 25th of last year, Kyle Pavone had passed away, and I was devastated. I didn't think he would. I didn't think he would be gone. I didn't want to believe it to be true. It felt so unreal because he treated me like a little brother, as you can tell. I mean, he's older than me by a year, but you get the idea. So, the Saturday that he had that it was announced he passed away, I looked at my phone, just casually looking on social media, and out of nowhere, my social media is filling up with Rip Kyle Pavone, and I'm like, what's going on here? What is this? And didn't want to see it to be true, and his friends posted it about him passing away, and I was just like, this can't be real. This can't be real. And then I went on Instagram. First thing that popped up was the band's personal page of him passing away, unfortunately, that day. And again, unfortunately, since it was true, I was heartbroken. The physical and emotional part of me was heartbroken. I mean, yeah, I've seen death growing up in family and people that my mom worked with. She worked as a nurse, so death didn't really matter, and I guess because I wasn't really close to him. But this one was different. Kyle loved me like a brother. That's what that band is about, brotherhood. The 4 things about We Came as Romans that not too many people in the music industry or in general don't take into account is love, compassion, respect, and faith. That everyone should show, but not a lot of people show that, including in the music industry. regardless if they scream and sing, which is what they do, but regardless of that, it's the type of personalities they have and all that stuff. At least they show to me and all the fans that enjoy them and love them. After Kyle was announced he passed away, all of my friends that I'm friends with, that I talk to quite a bit, all right after I posted it, messaged me to make sure I was okay. I was just like, I'm feeling the love today here. I mean, granted, as devastated as I was, because coming to the next day, it felt like someone took a metal baseball bat, hit me over the head with it while a moving bus was coming, and that's how bad it was. It took him like 4 months to overcome this, because I knew he was happy on the other side in the afterlife, but I just didn't want to believe it yet, I guess, and accept it. That's what it really came down to, is I guess I just wasn't ready yet to let go, because I was so close to him, and he loved me in his own way, just like all those guys do. Now the aggressive vocalist gets to scream and sing. I mean, he sung a little bit when the clean singer was alive, but not obviously as much. But yeah, so like I said, they were in a local... Actually, I'm about to say this really quick, and then I'll get into the CDs real quick. They were in a deathcore band called This Emergency. I mean, not the clean singer, get into that real quick, but they were in a local deathcore band called This Emergency. Some of the members are in We Came as Romans. I mean, obviously, again, most of them were different. The clean singer that I talked about, who passed away, unfortunately, was a fan of the band before he went into the band. And again, I met them in 2012, which I'll get into that. I listened to them for 7 years and have known them for 6 years. Kind of like acquaintance friends, sort of, like half and half. Like, we check up on each other, try to hang out a little bit, see how we're doing in each other's lives while they're on the road and everything. So, there's that. I don't know. Anyway, so let's get into these albums I'm about to show you. This one was their 4th or 5th one, called the self-titled album. Obviously, so you can see it's all signed by them. This one was more of a summertime album. Their fans weren't too pleased with it. I mean, granted, they all know I'm a big fan of them. The band does anyway. And some of my friends, obviously. They weren't too happy with it, I guess, with this one. But they tried it anyway, because it was more of a summertime album type of thing. Only like 1 or 2 songs are pretty heavy, but other than that, it's pretty soft for this one. So if that's what you're into, you can check it out yourself if you want to. Another one, this is their 2nd album after To Fly to Sea, which I'll be showing you. This one is Understanding What We've Grown to Be. Quick description of the backstory of this album. Obviously, kind of dark, I know it's kind of hard to see, but signed by all of them, obviously. The guitarist, writer I showed you, Joshua Moore, with the crazy long hair that I was sitting next to, he had bacterial meningitis. And for those who aren't familiar, maybe you are, you can leave them in the comments regardless, but bacterial meningitis is an unfortunate disease that not too many people can be able to survive to make out of. And that's what he did. When he was in the hospital, he wanted his bandmates to continue on without him on tour. Left a lot of people questioning when that was happening. But at the same time, now that he's out of it, obviously, for quite a few years or so, he had a story to write about it. And he did, and that's what inspired him to write it. And that's where I had Stay Inspired, and that it takes a real man to look out for himself and no one else. They're two completely different things. Like, Stay Inspired is a song title, and that it takes a real man from A War Inside off that album. And I just really like the message, especially with what he was going through. Why he was going through it, and what encouraged him to write that album. Another one is off their current one, which is about 2 years old already, surprisingly enough. Been listening to it every day, pretty much non-stop. Cold Like War. This one here, they're both pretty heavy in its own way. So, if you want to check it out, if you're into heavy stuff, I mean, if you're not, but you're just curious, give it a try. I mean, if you really enjoy it, these guys are really good. But the backstory to this album here, and I'll get into this one, they were supposed to go to a country a few years ago as they were just writing this album and just supposed to go on tour in another country in general. But unfortunately, due to safety reasons, they couldn't tour there. And I think these two countries are still fighting. And because they're not a fan of war and violence, that's what had encouraged them to write Cold Like War. The thing I love about this band so much, they talk about 4 things: love, compassion, respect, and faith. And that's not what most of the music industry shows, and people in general. If there's not too many people that do. I'm one of those people. Because when I first found them, which I'll get into, encouraged me to try to live a more positive life because of them and the type of example they put on to me. Another one, this is more of a DVD, or it is Present, Future, and Past. This is off their Tracing Back Roots album. Just one of their songs. Obviously, signed by all of them. This was filmed in Chicago when I lived in Chicago. Was late for a VIP. I mean, granted, I've hung out with them before and even after, but anyway. This was shot in Chicago, a live DVD. That's all I got. Not really much to that one. Tracing Back Roots was their 3rd album, I believe. Yeah, their 3rd album. Signed by all of them, obviously, as you can see. Not really much of a backstory. I remembered this one much, but I don't think I really noticed as much as they said it. I didn't really catch it enough. So, there's that one. Crucible, if you're into hardcore beatdown type of style, at least that's just what it sounded like to me. If you're into this type of thing, it's similar to, if a lot of you are familiar, maybe not, King 810. They got that King 810 vibe to it, sort of. Pretty hardcore beatdown stuff. This is what their side project is. That's the aggressive vocalist, the bassist, one of their merch guy from We Came as Romans, and the drummer for Taproot, if you're familiar with them. And then their guitarist right here in the back corner. He's also in We Came as Romans, obviously. Just obviously the darker picture in case anyone can't really see it. And then, the best for last, To Plant a Seed. To Plant a Seed was literally the first song I heard 7 years ago. This album came out 10 years ago in November? Yeah, 10 years ago in November. And this is when Kyle was on it, doing the clean singing. He did most of all these stuff too. He even did the screaming in Crucible. But anyway, To Plant a Seed came into my life when I was in a dark place in my life. And once I heard who they were, I was curious. I asked my friend who they were, told me who they were. I was instantly attached to them. Especially being in a religious cult that a lot of us were, it drew me to love them instantly. I mean, regardless if I was in a cult or not, but because of that, it helped me see life more positively because of them. I mean, I try to leave a positive example in my lifestyle in general, but these guys influenced me in the best way possible. I'll give another thing real quick here, and then I think I'm pretty much done. I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but you'll see it in future videos more, is I have this shrine. Like the drum head itself, not the hardwood and the lights and all that. Sorry, just had dinner, so no filter. Anyway, not the lights itself and the hardwood, but the drum head itself was given to me by the band, and the artwork when they drew on it, or at least the bassist did. Granted, we've hung out with multiple times and all that, but that was a special night for me. I mean, granted, every time I hung out with them since 2012 was a special night to me, but more so when they gave me that shrine, because I was just happy. I mean, when I got on the tour bus, I'm like, what is that? And I was curious. I wasn't going to ask them. They said they had a surprise for me, and I had a feeling I knew what it was, but I didn't want to, kind of ruin the surprise, I guess. I mean, granted, they wouldn't have cared, but that's just how I felt when I was hanging out with them again. I just didn't want to ask, so I just waited. And I had a feeling at the end of the night, when it was time to go home, I was right. It was for me. They handed it to me, and because of me being their biggest fan and the love we showed each other and all of that stuff, it just made me so happy that they gave that to me. And it's a treasure to me. One of the best things that makes me grateful that I'm happy I know them, and just in general, I'm happy I know them. So again, like I said, you've probably seen little bits of it in the background of my videos, but you'll see more in the future down the road, hopefully. Well, yeah. So, I also have 3 posters, small wall posters, 1 sign, 2 just hanging, obviously, and 2 wall flags, 1 of them signed, 30 shirts, a short pair of shorts, long pants, about 10 hoodies of theirs, this one being another example, or being an example. So yeah, anyway, let's get this challenge going, guys. Let's share what our favorite hobbies are. So again, like I said, I tag you, Eric White, if you're watching this, and looking forward to watching your video. Not sure what else I'm going to put in the outro. I'll put whatever I left out in the outro in the description, and if anyone bothers to read them, like this video to your favorites, turn it to blue. For you, hit that red subscribe button down below if you enjoyed this video. Only takes 3 seconds of your time if you have a YouTube channel. Turn on the notification if you want to, I guess. Leave a comment down below if you enjoyed it, which I know a lot of you will. Regardless, share this channel around with your friends and family on social media. And with that, like I said, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out. See ya.